All right, ठीक है. So continuing onwards. So vertical linkage diet model. All you have to know कि in group, out group, यहाँ से terminology शुरू आती है. And the theory by Erdogan, right? Star 15, he shows that well, it's not always permanent. You can change it if the people have an opportunity, if they carry out their role right. So routinization can then the next time it happens, they might improve their status as an in-group member. Bharat. But that's not our main theory. Our main theory is what happens after 1975. What happens after this? Our main theory is the leader-member exchange model, the LMX. So तुम्हारा जो बंदा है डांसर ये नाम होगा उसका जिसने ये थ्योरी दी थी राइट उसी बंदे की थ्योरी है सो एक ही बंदे ने पुरानी थ्योरी भी दी है और इसी बंदे ने नई वाली थ्योरी भी दी है LMX दैट्स व्हाई हम ऐसे पढ़ते हैं so if the concept of out group and in group is clear now we're going to talk about the leader member exchange leader member exchange is going to talk about the exchange that happens with the in-group and the out-group people. So it's gonna be all about the exchange that happens between these two groups. So what do we mean by exchange? Exchange is कह सकती हो the interaction. ठीक है? Is the relationship is the interaction that happens between between a member of the group and the leader of the group. So you can think of that as an interaction. So obviously in group वालों के साथ the level of exchange would be different and the out group वालों के साथ the level of exchange would be different. So what this group says कि जो in group वालों होंगे ना लोग उनके साथ exchange जो है leader का high exchange होगा ज़्यादा exchange होगा high exchange मतलब they're gonna have access to more information right they're gonna have क्या कहते हैं more क्या कहते हैं they're going to have more information to more information and they're going to have access to information more quickly than the out group people. Out group people will have exchange, but the exchange is not going to be that much. So the flow of information coming to the out group people is going to be low. So in group have high exchange, out group has low exchange. So if you understand that concept, okay, uh, that is what leader member exchange group means. So as in, if you see that the in group is favored, so it is gonna have a high exchange. The out group is not favored, so it's gonna have low exchange. So it's gonna have limited information, right? So that's what the leader member exchange model says. Okay, where you are will uh, क्या कहते हैं where you are will impact the level of information that you have. So हो सकता है कि friend circles के अंदर if you're not invited to a party, it might be that you're the part of art group. For example, in family gatherings, if you don't have news of किसी की wedding ceremony and you get it way late, हो सकता है you're the art group. So again, this is how organizations work. In group, out group क्या होता है? That's the dyad model, and the leader member exchange is talking about the exchange that happens with the out group and the in group people. All right. So if you now understand this, ठीक है ना? So obviously LMX theory के अंदर the out group वाले people are suffering. क्या करें बेचारे? कोई इन्फॉर्मेशन नहीं मिलता. So रियो कहता है कि अगर if क्या कहते हैं out group होते हो तुम it is because ठीक है ना the leader sees the outgroup people having a negative image. So भले तुमने कुछ भी नहीं किया हो but because you're an outgroup people the leader will not have a positive perception of you ठीक है ना and because तुम लोग outgroup वाले हो leader के इतने करीब नहीं हो तो you're also gonna have a negative perception of the leader. So basically Rigyo कहता है कि if you're the outgroup the leader sees you as bad and you see the leader as bad. तो यहाँ पे negative vibes आना शुरू होते हैं. And in group का क्या सीन है obviously इसका opposite होगा leader sees the group member as positive ठीक है ना and the group member sees the leader as positive. So Rigio कहता है कि it's not only the information that also matters is the perception also comes into play. Negative and positive perception भी create होना शुरू हो जाती है. Alright, so this is clearly a problem for our group people. So what to do about it? So after giving this theory in 1994, 1995 के अंदर एक और थ्योरी आती है इसी बंदे की थ्योरी है and this theory is known as the individualized leadership model. So he realizes कि यार बेचारे आउट ग्रुप वाले लोग पिस रहे हैं तो क्या किया जाए. So he gives a solution to fix this problem. ये कहते हैं कि भाई one way to solve this is to show support and concern for every follower regardless को in group में out group में. You're supposed to show concern and support every single follower. And basically, the true leader is that one which helps every single follower to overcome their difficulty. If you do that, then you're a good, effective leader. So basically, it's like treating everyone equally and showing concern for everyone equally. So if you do that, then you solve the leader member exchange problem, you solve the in group out group problem. So in summary, होता क्या है? Diet model, in group out group terminology create हो जाती है. Exchange talks about the interaction of the in group and out group, and the solution to it is the individualized leadership model. And these are all given by the same person जिसका नाम ये है डांस रूल. तो तुम्हारे सिलेबस के अंदर लीडर मेंबर एक्सचेंज मॉडल होगा, राइट? बट दीज थ्री आर ऑल थ्री इंटरलिंक्ड. तो वर्टिकल डायट मॉडल का भी तुम डिस्क्रिप्शन दे सकते हो, लीडर मेंबर एक्सचेंज का भी दे सकते हो, एंड इंडिविजुअलाइज लीडरशिप मॉडल का भी तुम दे सकती हो. बट दिस इज गोना बी मेन थिंग. अगर तुमने डायट का दे दिया एंड इंडिविजुअलाइज लीडरशिप मॉडल का दे दिया बट यू डोंट टॉक अबाउट द एक्सचेंज, तो मार्क्स नहीं मिलेंगे. एक्सचेंज को मेंशन करना लाजमी है. देन तुम डायट के ऊपर बात कर सकते हो, देन तुम इंडिविजुअलाइज लीडरशिप मॉडल के ऊपर बात कर सकती हो. भारत. So that's it. That's LMX. And well, is it applicable? Yes, you can use this concept to train people in an organization to identify कि भाई तुम गलती से in group out group तो नहीं बना रहे, because this is bad, right? It should not form. Uh, and you can also use this to train followers कि यार out group से निकलते कैसे हैं, using Erdogan's using this process of routinization. So you can teach people how to get out of out group if they are in that setup. So you can either teach the followers to improve this situation, or you can teach the leader to not do this and eliminate this situation. So it is applicable. क्या कहते हैं? Is it reductionist? Well, I'm going to say no, because it considers the both क्या कहते हैं followers point of view in terms of exchange, as well as it also क्या कहते हैं talks about the leader's perspective कि उसको क्या करना चाहिए. So it is in my view holistic in that regard. Individual situational, well, it's gonna be both. Okay, where do you find yourself, out group or in group? It could be because of the leader's personality. Maybe the leader likes some people, some the leader may not like some people. So that might be individual perspective. And the amount of exchange that you get will depend upon what type of group member you are, in group or out group. So that's a situational variable. So if you talk about the exchange, get to make constant exchange with that, that's depending on the situation. But where you end up in the out group, or as the person of the out group, or as the person of in group, that could be an individual perspective. Okay, you might be a person who is not extroverted, you might be introverted, you might not interact with the leader that much often, or the leader might not like you because he's not that type of person. So you might automatically end up in an out group because of individual perspectives, individual personalities. uh हो गया हो गया क्या ठीक है. Culture bias, application image, nature of free will, mistake. Well, it is free will in the sense that you have an opportunity to change your status quo. So you're not completely helpless in that. So it is free will in that regard if the followers choose to follow this process. And it is free will for the leader as well, because the leader can choose to fix this process if he decides to apply this one. It does deterministic. मैं इसको remove कर रहा हूँ. I don't know why I wrote culture bias. Reductions भी नहीं है. So yeah, ये है. So that's it. यहाँ पे, like, is there any clarification that you need regarding the leadership member exchange model? Or is everything clear? All right. Now we come on to the second theory of followership. That is the followership, the types of followership. ठीक है? And just like type of leader, you have types of followers as well. So these followers can be divided into four different quadrants. Okay, you're gonna measure two things. Are they active or are they passive? Active matlab ki are they proactive? Do they do things before you tell them, or do they do things after you tell them? If they do things after you tell them, they're passive. If they do things before you tell them, that's active. Independent and dependent. Are they person who can function independently, who can think in their own view, or are they people who cannot think independently and they want direction? So again, us basically we're going to divide the type of followers. So you have five types of followers over here. These five types of followers are: number one, sheep. Now, sheeps are people who are not dependent, right? Sorry, not independent. They are gonna be people, ठीक है ना, who require constant supervision. उनको बार बार देखना पड़ता है and उनको motivate करना पड़ता है, ठीक है ना. So it's like they're a kid. So and like sheep, right? They can switch the organization as quickly as they can. So they have low commitment and they require constant supervision, and they don't do things on their own. You have to tell them, you have to guide them like sheep. So they're passive, they're not independent, they're dependent, and they have low commitment. So that's sheep. Yes, people are the followers, ठीक है ना, who क्या कहते हैं, who don't care about the organization, who just care about the leader. As in leader भले गलत भी करे ना ऑर्गेनाइजेशन के साथ, they're still gonna support the leader. तो लॉयल्टी लीडर के साथ है, ऑर्गेनाइजेशन के साथ नहीं है. तो अगर लीडर छोड़ के चले जाएगा ना, ये लोग कंपनी छोड़ के चले जाएंगे लीडर के पीछे भागने के लिए. एंड अगर कोई लीडर को क्रिटिसाइज करे, दीज पीपल विल डिफेंड द लीडर फ्रॉम दैट क्रिटिसिज्म, भले वो गलत कर रहा है कि नहीं गलत कर रहा. ठीक है, तो these are those people. So you can kind of classify them as people who are dependent, के leader के पीछे भागते रहेंगे, but they're active as well क्योंकि they're gonna actively defend the leader. Pragmatic. Pragmatic people are self-interest वाले लोग. They put themselves first and put the company later. So they always talk about their self-interest. So they're gonna do whatever it is favorable for them. So they're gonna be cautious. They will not act petty. They're gonna be passive. They wanna see what is everyone doing, and if the majority succeeds, then I will also do it. So they never come in the foreground. They always stay in the background. Piche piche रहेंगे, and they always do what is best for them. एंड अगर उनको लगे कि अब मुझे यहाँ से भाग जाना चाहिए, सो दे विल चेंज द कंपनी अपने आप को बचाने के लिए. सो दे ऑलवेज दे नॉट लॉयल, दे नॉट कमिटेड, राइट, एंड दे आर पैसिव, राइट, एंड दे आर क्या कहते हैं डिपेंडेंट एज वेल. बट दे कैन चेंज, तो हम इनको क्लासीफाई नहीं करेंगे. वी आर गोना पुट देम राइट इन द मिडल, जहाँ पे कहीं भी जा सकते हैं. तो पैसिव आर लाइक people who can change at an instant. Then we have alienated people. Alienated people are the ones who क्या कहते हैं ग्रुप को बर्बाद करते हैं जानबूझ के. They always criticize the leader. They always try to demotivate the leader, the group. They always try to sabotage the leader and the group. क्यों? क्योंकि उनको जलन होती है कि हम लीडर से ज़्यादा क्वालिफाइड तो मैं हूँ, तो I should be the one who's leading this group, not the leader. So they are gonna be active, yes, क्योंकि सब किसी के साथ मिलना पसंद नहीं करते, and they are gonna be independent, yes, ठीक है ना. पर उनकी कमिटमेंट लो होगी with the organization क्योंकि they all they care about is themselves. So तुम इनको यहाँ पे डाल सकते हो alienated को, independent and active, but people who have negative attitude. Then your star followers. Star followers are people who are ideal, right? जो लीडर से दबता नहीं है. अगर लीडर गलत कर रहा है तो उसके मुंह पे बोल देता है तुम गलत कर रहे हो. And basically who gives their best 100% is the best follower out there, ठीक है ना. अगर कोई मसला हो तो he will not do it quietly, वो मसला उठाएगा, खड़ा करेगा. तो वो इंटिमिडेट नहीं होता लीडर से, ठीक है ना. एंड एट द एंड ये सब क्यों करता है? क्योंकि he cares about the company. तो he is loyal to the company, right? He can work alone and he is active. He will do things before you even tell him to do so. So he has a positive attitude. He is independent and he is active. So again, these are five types of followers, and every company has these type of followers. So again, this is what Kelly says in his theories regarding followers. Okay, by there are five type of followers that you need to look out for. So according to this theory, what can you say? Well, we can say that this is the first theory which kind of defines followers. इससे पहले कोई theory नहीं थी which defines the type of followers. So this is one theory that you have which यहाँ पे followers को define किया गया है. Is it applicable? Yeah, you can train this to managers to look out for or find out कि उनके इदारे के अंदर alienated कौन बंदा है, sheeps कौन है, yes people कौन है. So it can help leader identify these type of people in their organization, and it can also help followers change their perspective. If someone f- knows about this, they might see themselves as a sheep. So now they know they can change their attitude to become someone who's star follower. So it can be informational to the followers and the leader as well. So it is applicable. You can train people like that. Uh, Deterministic नहीं बोलूँगा. Either reduction is reductionist in the sense that you're only looking at the follower's personality, right? You're not looking at the situation. You only talk about the followers, but you're not talking about the situation the followers are in. So with that regard, I'm gonna say, okay, this reductionist because you're just gonna focus on the followers' key personality types or the types of followers, and nothing about the situation where the followers work. Uh, it can be culture bias क्योंकि शायद किसी कल्चर के अंदर ज़्यादा फॉलोअर्स टाइप ज़्यादा पाए जाएं. For example, जो स्टार फॉलोअर होता है ना इंडिपेंडेंट वाला, it may be good, yeah, it may be positively favored in a individualistic culture, but जहाँ पे लोगों को साथ चलना होता है शायद वहाँ पे स्टार फॉलोअरशिप का ज़्यादा कौन सा अच्छा नहीं समझे जाए. वहाँ पे शायद शीप का अच्छा समझे जाए जहाँ पे सबको साथ चलना पड़े. um, तो this is all evaluated according to the Western culture कि उनके हिसाब से क्या सही है. And because Western culture is an individualistic culture, what is viewed positively वहाँ पे may not be the same in collectivist cultures as well. It's applicable, it's reductionist, it's culture bias, it's also individualistic because again, whether the person is dependent or active will be based upon their individual personality types. Some people are dependent according to personality, some people are active according to personality. So what type of follower are you according to this theory is gonna be down to the individual type. It's not the situation that makes you sheep, is you who yourself makes you yourself a sheep. So यहाँ पे individual perspective लिया जा रहा है, situational perspective नहीं लिया जा रहा. And yeah, that's it for evaluation. Then you have discussion where different type of followers do not exist. They either follow a leader or they don't. तो यहाँ पे followership का concept remove कर दिया गया है. So this is a debate. You can use Kelly's theory to argue कि नहीं follower have exist करते हैं. So that is one point that goes against this statement कि नहीं there are different type of followers who do exist. And it's not just about whether workers follow a leader or not. Different type of followers do exist, and you can tell Kelly की theory के हिसाब से. You can also use क्या कहते हैं leader member exchange model to say कि नहीं there are also different type of followers according to NMX theory जो out group और in group बोलता है. It's not just about following the leader, it's more also about the leader's interaction with the followers which makes them in group out group, and उसके base पे uh, you get क्या कहते हैं interaction. तो उसके वजह से तुम्हारी treatment differ होगी within a group. So उस लिहाज से भी different type of followers do exist. It's not just about following the leader or not. um, क्या कहते हैं उसके अलावा, but to support the statement कि नहीं different follow type of follower do not exist, workers either follow a leader or they don't. ठीक है, you can say that क्या कहते हैं at the end of the day, ठीक है ना, uh, if you say कि different type of followers don't exist, so you can say that बहुत ही मुश्किल है कि even if you are someone who's alienated तुम बिल्कुल एग्जैक्ट इस तरह एक्ट करोगे, तुम्हें कंपनी से निकाल देंगे अगर तुमने इस तरह किया. तो इवन दो यू माइट बी समवन हु is an alienated personality, you will not actively do that in an organization, right? So even though different type of followers exist, we might not uh, encounter them in the workplace because in the workplace there are certain rules have to you to obey, and ultimately everyone who works obeys or agrees with some sort of rule, right? So बहुत ही मुश्किल कि वहाँ पे कोई alienated बंदा नजर आ जाए 5 साल के लिए काम कर रहा हो. So it's practically not possible for that person to exist. So that's why this eliminates the concept कि भाई different type of followers होते हैं. जो भी लीडर कह रहा होगा ना, फॉलोअर्स कर रहे होंगे, दैट्स वाई वो कंपनी में बड़े टिके हुए हैं. ऐसा हो ही नहीं सकता लीडर की बात ना माना फिर भी कंपनी में टिके हुए होंगे. नंबर टू, यू ऑल्सो हैव टू कंसिडर दैट क्या कहते हैं डिफरेंट टाइप ऑफ फॉलोअर्स डू नॉट एग्जिस्ट. यू कैन आर्ग्यू के द प्लेस दे वर्क मे बी डिफरेंट. ठीक है. सो क्या कहते हैं instead of saying different type of followers exist, you can say कि different type of क्या कहते हैं work environment exists. So because there are different sectors, there are different क्या कहते हैं industries, there are different work dynamics. So you can say that it's not the different type of followers who exist. There are different work dynamics that exist, which make it difficult to follow a leader or make it easy to follow a leader. So फॉर एग्जाम्पल यू कैन टेक द एग्जाम्पल ऑफ कोविड कि यहाँ पे किसी का वर्क एट होम होता है, किसी का वर्क ऑन साइट होता है. सो जो वर्क ऑन साइट कर रहा होगा वो लीडर के साथ ज़्यादातर साइंस से कम्युनिकेट कर पा रहा होगा. वर्क एट होम वाले नहीं कर पा रहे होंगे. तो इट्स नॉट द फॉलोअर्स, द वर्क डायनामिक दैट हैज चेंज्ड एंड टाइप्स ऑफ फॉलोअर्स हैज नथिंग टू विद इट. दैट्स गोना बी योर आर्गुमेंट. यहाँ पे कोई मसला. All right. Lastly, we have the measuring leadership वाला part. So this is gonna be the third section, जो followership के अंदर आता है, but it does not fit with followership. Trust me, इसको किसी अलग section में होना चाहिए था, but ये नहीं है. So last thing you have measuring leadership, लेकिन ये followership के अंदर आता है. इस section के अंदर you're gonna talk about the questionnaire which you can use to measure leadership, and that scale is known as the LPI, leadership. क्या कहते हैं पर्सनैलिटी या प्रेफरेंस, एक मिनट, लीडरशिप नाम भूल गया उसका, या लीडरशिप प्रैक्टिसेस इन्वेंटरी, द एलपीआई. सो दिस इज अ क्वेश्चनर जहाँ पे व्हाट यू डू इज अ सेल्फ रिपोर्ट क्वेश्चनर, एंड इसके अंदर दे मेजर 5 थिंग्स फ्रॉम द लीडर. सो जो तुम्हारा रिजल्ट आएगा ना वो 5 एस्पेक्ट पे निकल के आएगा. फॉर एग्जाम्पल तुम्हारे पास मॉडल द वे कितना है, इंस्पायर द शेयर विजन कितना है, चैलेंज द प्रोसेस कितना है, एनेबल अदर एक्ट कितना है, एनकरेज फ्रॉम द हार्ट कितना है. सो तुम्हारे 5 सब स्किल्स हैं यहाँ पे, 5 एरियाज हैं. मॉडल द वे इज, अच्छा क्वेश्चन मेरे पास आया, what about the 4 effective qualities? Oh yeah. See, कैरी ने स्टार फॉलोअर का एग्जांपल दिया था ना. हाँ यार, yeah. Kelly is the one who gave the example of star followers, right? So obviously इसने कुछ सोच के इसको स्टार बोला होगा. So there could be some criteria those star followers meet according to Kelly, and the uh, criteria given by Kelly is this one. He says that whoever the follower is, they should have these 4 qualities. They should be able to function independently. They should be committed to an organization. They should be competent enough, yet skilled enough to carry out the task, and they should be brave enough to stand up to the management if they do something wrong. So this is the criteria he says that it makes an effective follower. तो तुम ये कह सकते हो कि the sheeps, yes, people pragmatic, alienated star followers, they either meet some of the criteria and they don't meet some of the criteria, or they meet all the criteria. For example, sheep does not meet any of this, right? Yes, people meet some of this, maybe. Star followers meet all of this. So what the type of followers are ideal or not would depend upon these क्या कहते हैं standards that Kelly has set out. So that's why the star follower is the best one क्योंकि ये 4 criteria meet करता है according to Kelly. So इतना यहाँ पे clarify हो गया. Alright, so the questionnaire. 5 self skills. Model the way, as in practice what you preach, right? Inspire, share a vision. You क्या कहते हैं? You communicate and motivate people about the changes you want to bring. Challenge the process is again introducing something new to the company, how creative you are, enables other to act, is gonna measure your support, and encourage from the heart is क्या कहते हैं is gonna measure how you क्या कहते हैं how you make people better, how you like give them confidence, how you like क्या कहते हैं improve their performance, ठीक है ना, how you take care of them as a person. यहाँ पे is more about giving other space to do things on their own, right? यहाँ पे is more about treating people as treat people. So it's gonna measure these five things and पता चलेगा कि तुम्हारे पास as a leader ये पांच चीजें हैं या कुछ चीजें कम है कुछ चीजें ज्यादा हैं. So these are the five soft skills. So in summary, LPI is a self major questionnaire जहाँ पे ये पांच चीजें मेजर की जाती हैं. कितने क्वेश्चंस हैं? 30 क्वेश्चंस हैं. So हर सब स्केल के 6 क्वेश्चंस हैं. 6 6 6 6 6 and 6 5 are 30. So basically जो क्वेश्चंस होते हैं दे गिव यू अ सिनेरियो एंड हर सिनेरियो के नीचे तुम्हें इन 10 ऑप्शन में से टिक करना होता है. ऑलमोस्ट नेवर सेल्डम वगैरह वगैरह वगैरह. सो ऑब्वियसली तुम्हारा जो आंसर होगा क्वांटिटेटिव आएगा. ठीक है. तो और एल्स यू हैव टू रिमेंबर कि इसके तीन अलग वर्जन्स होते हैं या दो. हाँ. देयर इज अ स्टूडेंट वर्जन एज वेल क्योंकि ऑब्वियसली ये जो क्वेश्चंस हो गए कंपनीज वाले स्टूडेंट के ऊपर सूट नहीं करेगा. सो एक स्टूडेंट वाला फॉर्म भी होता है जो स्टूडेंट के हिसाब से क्वेश्चंस पूछता है. सो अगेन इसका स्टूडेंट वाला वर्जन भी है, ठीक है ना, इसका कंपनी वाला वर्जन भी है, ठीक है, एंड इसका ग्रुप वाला वर्जन भी है जो 360 वाला है. इंडिविजुअल वाला वो होता है जो तुम अपना क्वेश्चन खुद सॉल्व करके जवाब निकालते हो. फॉर एग्जाम्पल तुम अपने लिए सॉल्व करोगे फिर पता चलेगा तुम एज अ लीडर कौन हो एज अ प्रोफेशनल. अगर तुम एज अ स्टूडेंट करते हो तो वहां पर ये वाला लगेगा स्टूडेंट एलपीआई. एक होता है 360 वाला. 360 वाला क्या होता है कि हो सकता है कि मैं तुमसे पूछूं कि तुम एज अ लीडर कैसी हो यूजिंग एलपीआई. यू माइट गेट बायस रिस्पॉन्सेस. तो मैं क्या करूंगा, मैं लोगों के पास जाऊंगा हु नो यू या हु वर्क विद यू एंड मैं बोलूंगा यार मैं इसको इवैल्यूएट करूँ ये एज अ लीडर किस लिए है तो मुझे भर के दो. सो आई एम गोना मेक पीपल फिल योर फॉर्म थ्रू देम. तो उनके रिस्पॉन्सेज से मुझे पता चलेगा तुम किस टाइप ऑफ लीडर हो. और आई एम नॉट गोना use one person to do that. मैं कम से कम like I'm gonna take someone who supervises you. I'm gonna take someone who works with you. I'm gonna take someone who works under you. So तुम्हारे जो ऊपर है तुम्हारे साथ जो है और तुम्हारे नीचे वाले लोग को मैं तीनों को मिला के तुम पूछूंगा भाई एज अ लीडर ये कैसी बनती है. तीनों के क्वेश्चनर्स को मैं एवरेज आउट करूंगा फिर मुझे पता चल जाएगा कि तुम्हारे पास एज अ लीडर ये पांच क्वालिटी में से कौन कौन सी चीजें हैं. तो एनी वे यू लुक एट इट, ठीक है ना, इट इज सेल्फ रिपोर्ट. क्या पता जो लोग तुम्हें सोच के फिल आउट कर रहे होंगे उनको दुश्मनी होगी तुम्हें नेगेटिवली रेट कर दें. वी नेवर नो. सो देयर इज still demand characteristics involved. But number one, it is generalizable क्योंकि स्टूडेंट्स के ऊपर भी लग सकता है who are not professional. Number two, if you think about it, अगर मैं तुम्हारा पर्सनैलिटी तीन लोगों से मेजर करवा रहा हूँ तो इट डज kind of come under inter-rater reliability कि तीन लोग तुम्हें रेट करोगे इंडिपेंडेंटली. ठीक है. तो इट डज हैव इंटर-rater reliability if you talk about the LPI 360. Alright. और क्या है? Is it applicable? Yes, it's applicable क्योंकि जो भी तुम्हारा लीडरशिप निकल के आएगा, राइट, हम तुम्हारे जो लैकिंग वाला एरिया है, फॉर एग्जाम्पल तुम्हारे पास अगर ये वाला एरिया कम आता है वी कैन वर्क अपॉन इट, वी कैन इम्प्रूव इट. तो उससे मुझे पता चल जाएगा कि तुम्हें तुम्हारा कौन सा इम्प्रूव करना है. एंड बिकॉज हम तुम्हारा एरिया इम्प्रूव कर सकते हैं दिस विल कम एट नर्चर साइड ऑफ द डिबेट क्योंकि इट बिलीव्स कि वी कैन इम्प्रूव एंड डेवलप क्वालिटीज इन यू दैट यू डोंट हैव. gives quantitative data, ठीक है ना, scrolls and questions, क्या कहते हैं, the different variations of it, 30 questions, 5 sub skills, 6 questions per sub skills, um, has integrated reliability in the LPI 360, and that's it. So that is the questionnaire, ठीक है ना. They do ask it भाई 5 sub skills के बारे में कोई एक sub skill बताओ. So you need to understand, memorize the sub skills, ठीक है. Alright. They do ask a one other way in which the leadership could be measured. तो यहाँ पे instead of a questionnaire, ठीक है ना, तुम्हारे पास जो ऑप्शंस होंगे, that is an observation interview, ठीक है ना. और तुम्हें बताना पड़ेगा कि भाई अगर हम ऑब्जर्वेशन करेंगे तो ऑब्जर्वेशन के थ्रू लीडरशिप किस तरह मेजर करेंगे, या इंटरव्यू के थ्रू हम लीडरशिप किस तरह मेजर करेंगे. सो यू हैव टू बी रियली क्लियर कि इंस्टेड ऑफ क्वेश्चनर, how else can you measure leadership using an interview? Yeah, using observation. For example, interview can be asked from followers what they think about you as a leader. Yeah, we can observation through, we can observe you while you're giving the speech, and we can check whether the people are listening to the speech motivatedly, happily, or whether the people are inspired from you. There are advantages and disadvantages of an LPI. Self, individual वाला है, and the observer जो 360 वाला है. दोनों के advantage disadvantages है. Discuss how having both questionnaires affects the validity of the LPI. दोनों सेल्फ रिपोर्ट है तो ऑब्वियसली डिमांड कैरेक्टर्स होंगे. ठीक है ना. दूसरा है कि क्या कहते हैं, दोनों स्टैंडर्डाइज होंगे तो वहाँ पे शायद इंटरनल वैल्यू बढ़ सकती है. सो एक एडवांटेज ये है, दूसरा एडवांटेज ये है. तुम कह सकते हो कि क्या कहते हैं, दोनों क्वेश्चनर जो सेल्फ वाला है और ऑब्जर्वर वाला है, जब हम कंपेयर करेंगे तो इंटर वेटर क्या कहते हैं, रिलायबिलिटी आ सकती है, जिसके बेस पे वी कैन आर्ग्यू के वेदर योर रिस्पॉन्स आर बायस्ड और नॉट. सो वी कैन क्रॉस चेक फॉर बायसेस विच विल इंक्रीज योर वैलिडिटी. एंड उसके अलावा क्या कह सकते हैं, और क्या होगा, और क्या होगा. I would say that one other advantage is that for this is okay. Well, हम एक तरीके कर सकते हैं कि if you use this, right, so if we measure leadership abhi and if we measure leadership now, we can like compare your progress before and after करके. So it can give us a long-term development of your leadership quality, which could then work its way into adding validity to the research, क्योंकि जब तुम स्टडी लंबे अरसे के लिए करती हो तो like उसकी वैलिडिटी बढ़ सकती है. तो if you compare the before and after process, and if we track the changes that you acquired within the leadership qualities in that sub skill, तो उसके बेस पे हम कह सकते हैं कि वैलिडिटी बढ़ सकती है. And we're gonna do this for the LPI itself and the observer as well. So yes, describe one way of measuring leadership. अगर ये सवाल आता है, you will always go for the LPI. ठीक है, एक और कोई क्वेश्चन नहीं है. Yes, least preferred co-workers के लिए, but is Fielder's experiment कैसा है. It's not an official questionnaire अलग से. So we will not talk about that. ठीक है. Uh, ऑब्जेक्टिवली मेजर्स लीडरशिप, क्योंकि क्लोज न्यूमेरिकली डेटा आता है. सेल्फ रिपोर्ट का मसला होता है. कल्चर बायस का मतलब ये है कि अगेन सम कल्चर्स के अंदर कुछ एस्पेक्ट ज़्यादा कम हो, डिपेंड्स ऑन द कल्चर. फॉर एग्जाम्पल किसी कल्चर के अंदर ये ज़्यादा आता है, किसी कल्चर के अंदर ये ज़्यादा आता है. सो रिजल्ट्स में बी कल्चर बायस. ठीक है. डिटर्मिनिस्टिक मैं तो नहीं बोलूँगा. It's not reductionist क्योंकि it's measuring 5 components of leadership. ठीक है ना. So it is measuring many aspects at once. So it is holistical. Has empirical data का मतलब है कि there is evidence कि it is a legitimate skill, क्योंकि ये जो मॉडल्स ये जो सब स्किल डेवलप किए गए थे ऑफिशियली ओरिजिनली ये 4 लाख लोगों से भरवाए थे. फिर उनका डेटा गैदर किया था, फिर उस बेस पे ये क्वेश्चनर फाइनलाइज हुआ था. सो ये क्वेश्चनर बनने से पहले 4 लाख लोगों के रिस्पॉन्सेज लिए गए थे एज अ ट्रायल, एंड उस बेस पे ये क्वेश्चनर फाइनलाइज किया गया. तो इट डज हैव देन रिसर्च एविडेंस कि ये क्वेश्चनर काम का है. ठीक है. तो इट डज हैव empirical data research data. And that's it. Is there any other clarification? Alright. ठीक है. तो फिर प्लीज मुझे बता देना कि हमारे रीजन क्या डिस्कस हुआ, सो वी कैन प्लान अ लेसन प्लान. जब भी मैं अभी अपना क्विज भी नहीं दे रहा, क्योंकि आई डोंट नो इफ यू स्टडी फॉर दैट और नॉट. ठीक है. सो प्लीज लेट मी नो उसके अलावा इन द नेक्स्ट क्लास वी विल बिगिन अगेन. मुझे बता दें मंडप क्या होता है, फिर उसके बाद वी आर गोना डिसाइड व्हाट टू डू विद नेक्स्ट. या तो हेल्थ शुरू करेंगे या तो सिविल ऑर्गेनाइजेशन. सही है. All right, I'm gonna sign off now. All right, Allah Hafiz.